reflect the opinions of the staff, management, ownership of the station. Jay and Janine are expressing their own opinions, and such is not a substitute for psychological or mental health advice. If you are experiencing an emergency, please hang up and call 911.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show, where we're talking everything personal development, coaching, health, and the law. I'm your host, Jay, here with co-host Janine.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Please join us on Facebook, where we can be found at the Momentum Mindset Show. And if you want to call in and be part of the show, we would love to hear from you. It's 888-565-1470. And if being on live radio is not your thing, no problem. Send us your comments and we will interact with you on Facebook.
Let's create some momentum.
Yes.
And welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show. It's Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, and I'm your host, Jay Farrow.
And I am your host, Janine Davis. Welcome, everybody. We're so excited for Momentum Mindset Friday.
And we have a great show for you today. But before we begin, as we always do on Friday afternoon, we've been sitting on our bums all week long. So we're going to get up and shake it off a little bit and shake that booty a little bit. If you're in your car, don't do this, but just a little shaking. Just let's get the body flowing, get some blood flowing, and welcome. And we have a great show for you today. We're here with Janine Foster, who is my personal trainer and also Janine's personal trainer. We're going to talk a bit about getting into the gym, working out, talking about health and goals, and we're going to talk a lot about some
facing fears
today.
Yeah. Ooh. It's a big show. And welcome, Janine Foster. You are a mighty, mighty, mighty fierce woman, and we're super proud to have you on the show to talk about what you're up to and your company, J9 Fit.
Thank you.
Welcome. And talk, introduce yourself. What do you do? And tell us a little bit about being a personal trainer, and we just want to get to know you a little bit before we get into some deeper topics.
Okay, so I am Janine Foster, and I am a wellness specialist. I'm a personal trainer and also a strength and conditioning coach for athletes. And growing up being an athlete, I noticed that it's more than just results in the gym. It's also a mindset. It's how you look at taking care of your body and noticing where you stop when it comes to having the goals, whether it's, being the #1 athlete in college, or, lifting the most weight in a competition, or running the fastest mile. It all comes down to having a goal and taking yourself on, and that's where I come involved. It's more than just fitness. It's also about health, and it's a lifestyle.
I like the word lifestyle.
It's awesome.
Because that's really what it becomes, right? I mean, once you make the decision to go after your health, I mean, you're either up to it or you're not.
Yeah.
Janine and I were talking about diet and how it just either you're on your plan or you're not on your plan, right. And it's challenging. I mean, what would you think if someone's starting their first workouts, or they're thinking about getting into the gym? Because I know a lot of our listeners, and we're still in the beginning of the year. And a lot of our listeners are still contemplating that initial, I got the gym membership maybe for a holiday gift, or maybe to themselves. They gave themselves the gift of health. I mean, what are some of the things that you could suggest to just get people going, get people in the gym, or just to get started?
I think the first and most important part is why. Why is it important to you to get up and get fit? As a strength coach, I also take women on, is this for you, or is this for you to be able to walk around Disney Park and not get tired, or you to walk up the steps and not get tired, or is this for you to challenge yourself in getting stronger so when you get older you don't have a hip replacement? Or is it because you want that body when you're at the beach and being secure in that bathing suit? So the first thing and foremost most important thing is your why, and why is it important to you? And that's where I find that's my gift, is connecting the two, instead
awesome.
of just going in the gym and be like, hey, I'm here on the treadmill lifting some weights, And
this show naturally falls into the why.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I was just thinking that. I'm like, wow, that all of it is so connected. And I think that's why we're all so connected, because we're very much anchored in the same principles of why are you doing what you're doing, get clear on that, get connected to that, because when it gets hard, as it did this morning at the gym, I literally had to picture myself in a particular dress to get through a certain exercise.
Oh, right there. Okay. That's a why. Now, I was just speaking to a client on the way here who I have a relationship with that I can go into personal development.
Yes.
And we were talking about his why, and connecting that to his ultimate want. Like, what does he want? And what you just said right there, okay, getting into the dress was what got you through that particular workout.
Right.
Do you find that some people do for you? Do you have multiple whys, or do you recall the first why that you ever had to get into the gym?
There's multiple whys. Yeah. I also want to bring it back to the feeling. Like, it's more than just the doingness of, okay, I'm going to go do this because my why is to fit in a dress. What is the feeling of you being in that dress that you love?
Yeah.
Because when you connect with that, then there's nothing else that's going to get in the way, and that will get you up at 5 o'clock in the morning when you don't want to be there.
Exactly. It's absolutely true. And in fact, it is multiple whys, because for me, it's first and foremost health and strength. As the body's aging, I want to make sure that I can arrive in the best shape possible and feel amazing and feel as good on the outside as I do on the inside. So I want that alignment. And yeah, every now and then I'm like, I want to look great in that dress. Yes, because I want to kill it, because I want to feel confident and sexy. So it is multiple whys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
that's
what do you think is the most profound, most profound why? Is it aesthetics, or is it something deeper than that? Because you mentioned something just a second ago. You said the feeling. And what we're talking, this is the Momentum Mindset Show, and and keeping momentum in your life to go after the goals that you want requires a connection to that why. When you say aesthetic, I mean that's one thing that to fit in a dress, and I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get that, but I get.
Maybe not a dress for you, but something else
I get
for you.
it. Okay. Yeah. But what about something deeper than that? Have you found, when you say some of your other whys, what do you think something else? Because I'm sure some of the listeners are thinking, okay, I get the dress, but what if it's not that? What if there's something else, more maybe spiritual, or is there something deeper than that? Because you say multiple whys. What are the other kind of whys that you give yourself permission for that you wouldn't maybe tell yourself or tell anybody about? I give you an example, like I want to prove somebody wrong in my past, or I want to show that teacher that they were wrong when they told me that I was never going to amount to something. What about some of those other whys that we don't necessarily talk about? Because easy to say, I want to fit in that dress, because that's something that's acceptable, and I'm sure that's true for you. But what
in that moment, yeah.
What are some other motivators that you've used as far as your whys are concerned?
I think in the most important part is confidence. Like, it says something about someone walking with their head up high and believing it, like having belief, because you can't go to Saks Fifth and buy that. You can't go to Louis Vuitton and buy that. It's something that you generate in yourself, and I think that's the most important thing about it. It's the beingness, and I noticed that, like, bringing it back, it's this lack of requesting support, like, hey, I don't know how to get in shape.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That first question, and how easy is it for someone to reach out to you?
It is very simple, and what is easy to do is also easy not to do. So it's like, that's where it's like, okay, I ask questions, like, what would it feel like if you what can you see possible if you walked in with your head held high and your shoulders back, and like really getting them and painting the picture. I think that's the most important part of it, is painting the picture for them to see it, and then them imagine it, and then like, oh my gosh, I could see this, and then it's a ripple effect. It changes everything.
Because there's an intimidation factor. This is where some of the people stop, is intimidation or anxiety, or I'm afraid.
Especially if you're heavier or you're very out of shape. Even if you're thin, but you know you have a lot of muscle weakness, it's very intimidating.
I could say it for myself. Here I coach CrossFit, strength coach. I don't have a problem walking into a gym. Now you put me in a yoga studio. Now that's out of my comfort zone.
Right.
So I could get the intimidation part.
Yeah.
And then that's where it's like, okay, well, what am I here for? Right. So that's like asking the question, like, what am I here for, and bringing it back to me. And I think that's like where people stop, is they like, oh my God, are these people going to think I'm doing it wrong?
Right. What can you recommend to get people sort of out of their own way to ask for the support?
Being courageous. Yeah, it's one of those things like tomorrow. Just jump.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah,
I'm glad
we'll
you
talk
brought
about
that
that
up.
after the commercial, though. But yeah,
we'll get that into just
there's a lot of courage that's going around here at all times. But yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that. But if someone gives you a call, like if I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling you, I mean, it's hard to ask for help. How do you make people feel a little bit like...
I listen. I listen, because I think there's also a distinction between hearing and listening, and actually listening and coming up with where they're coming from, and creating a space of not even putting my 2 cents in. Let them just talk. Let them talk about their life, how they're what their lifestyle is now and where they would like for it to go. And it comes down to listening without me like bad and wronging them, and coming from like a neutral place. I know tone is everything also,
Absolutely.
And I thank you for that, because you bring this like, surrender part of me where I could access this like, and be crazy, because most of the time I'm like one way,
Right.
So it comes down to creating a safe space where someone feels comfortable being them.
Safe space.
That's awesome. It shows up everywhere, at the gym, at work, and coaching, and what you're up to next steps. It's people feeling safe in an environment to be themselves is everything. And it's no different at the gym, because for a lot of us it's very intimidating, especially if you've got a big climb to get to where you want to go.
Yes.
So more on that too.
Yeah. And we're going to take a commercial break, but if you do want to call into the show today, we have a call number is 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470, and we will be right back after a short break.
Thank you, everyone.
Farrow Law Firm. Are you in default with your loan modification? Has your rate adjusted? We can help. Reach out to us today and we'll put our 10 years of foreclosure defense experience to work for you. Call us at 954-252-9818, online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show
with Jay and Janine. Give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
And welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show, Friday afternoon. I'm your host, Jay Farrow.
And I'm Janine Davis. And we've got, it's not a joke, we've got another Janine in the studio. Her name is Janine Foster, and she's an amazing wellness coach and athlete, and I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm going to let her talk for now. But, during the break, we were talking about a couple of different things. I was curious if Janine would be kind enough to share her why. What motivates you to be in this arena of fitness, and then subsequently to coach people and to train them?
My why is for people to get that they can achieve anything that they put their mind to, no matter where they come from. It all starts with the belief in believing in oneself. And I'm a big advocate of starting with children and, creating this platform for kids to take on fitness and like do that extra sprint or do that extra push-up that they in their mind is like, no, I don't want to. And like pushing through that is then building that muscle, that mindset that then they take on in their lives. And I find joy in that. I find passion in that. I find that's how the world is then confident and peaceful. Yeah.
Awesome. Go ahead.
No, one of the reasons why I really thank you for coming on the show is that I believe that health is the number one thing to create momentum in your life. I believe that going after or putting your health number one is the first thing that I did during this journey was. We started on day one, actually. Janine was here. She saw me was there training me through my first reps. And even to this morning on day 343 of this transformational journey. When I put health first, it gave me the confidence. It made me feel better about myself. It transformed my life to want to go after the other goals that I have set for myself.
Well, I think it's interesting that you say that, because I think what it does too is that it exactly, it starts to give you that idea that when you're putting in the work, the results are coming and you're seeing that transformation physically. And so it feeds into confidence in every other area, right? You're like, oh, well, if I do this, then I can do this.
If I can do this, then I can do this.
What else can I do?
What else can I do?
And that's curious.
That question right there. What else can I do?
Yeah.
What else am I capable of doing?
Yeah.
Because it gets hard in the gym.
Right.
So if you're pushing through that, when life hits, you've built that muscle. We were talking about the callus of the mind. It still lands for me.
Right.
That
Callousing your mind.
Yeah, callousing your mind is then when life hits, like that muscle, it's memory.
And when I'm on the treadmill,
absolutely.
and I just got a personal best the other day of 5.4 miles, and when I was at a minute, I ended up running for 50 minutes. When I was at minute like 27, my mind was like, let's turn this machine off. And then I was about to turn it off, and there was something that said, no, don't take this away from him. That's what I said to myself. Don't take this away from him.
Right.
Love him enough not to press that button. And then you go through all of those conversations. Oh, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why? I had no answer other than I wanted to see if I could.
That's a very big thing. I wanted to
But
see
all my
if
fears
I
came
could.
up.
Yeah.
My lungs want to collapse. I mean, I feel like I'm going to black out. But this is where I'm going. But these are the fears that, and now we're getting into this part of our conversation is about the fears. What do you think of your experience that when people come and they want to be trained? What are the fears that they have? What are the breakthroughs? Because you're not just showing people how to do the reps. I mean, I've worked with you. I mean, you're coaching people through it. What are some of the things that come up for them and maybe yourself?
I want to say time. Time is it's a huge thing, because if they have children, they have work, they have life, they don't see it possible to put themselves first. It's like this, I'm last. And
it's a block almost.
It's interesting how they make time. And I was thinking about this in the shower. I don't know why I was thinking about it in the shower. I was thinking about it in the shower that, like,
It's a great thinking place.
People make time to go to the dentist and go to the doctor and take your child all the way here. But what about yourself? It starts with you. Like, you're on the airplane, they say put the mask on you first.
Right.
Like, that's like, what about that?
Yeah. What about that? It's true. I think a lot of us are trained that everything comes first.
Yes.
Everything else comes first.
No, there's an expense with personal training.
Yes.
And there's a cost for time.
Yes.
I'm fine that if I'm ever telling you that I don't have enough money or if I don't have enough time, it's a self-worth conversation. I'm telling you, really, I'm not worth it. And how do you break through? What are some of the things that you support people? And is there little wins, or are there easy ways to ease into the gym instead of doing something like what I did? I mean, what are some of the things that you could do to support somebody who's listening right now who's really wanted to get there?
I usually say starting with pictures, because if you can see your results and it's tangible, then you're going to keep on going, right? So say, not everyone wants to share with me. That's okay. I still tell them to do it.
Privately?
Yes. You keep those pictures, and weekly you take the pictures and you compare them. And I'll give them the app to do it, or step on the scale, or go and measure yourself, or get in the same outfit and then a month from now do it.
What about somebody that doesn't want to wait the month? Like, what is something that someone could do within the first day or two that's going to make them feel really good, really comfortable, to get some momentum going, to get that engine moving?
Just go.
Like a walk, or
like anything. Just go. Just walk. Just get up. Just move.
It doesn't even have to be in the gym.
No, just move. Even like go park further away from the store, from Publix. Take the steps instead of the elevator. Just do that. Do one thing more.
And acknowledge yourself for doing that.
Yes, and appreciate that you did that.
That's huge, right? Because we all think that if we're not somehow from one day to the other, the fittest person on earth or looking amazing, then we haven't really accomplished anything. But it does take small steps to get there.
And I want to say, this is the thing with what I believe in it. You didn't get there overnight. Yeah. You didn't all of a sudden just be like, oh, here, I'm here. So being patient with yourself, being gentle with yourself, and compassionate, like, hey, this is going to be a journey.
Because when people walk into the gym, that's the first thing. It's like, oh my God, look, I did it. Because this is why I'm talking about it. It's like they see these guys that are really built and cut, and it's like, and then when I didn't get there as quickly as I thought, you have those conversations like, really, why am I doing this?
Yeah, the why bother conversation.
And that's why having someone to be accountable to.
Yes.
And so what is something ways that the personal trainer can work if it's not just like one-on-one training? Is there anything like a step down? Is there something else that you can do instead of just one person being with another person?
I like how you said accountability. Reaching out and being like, hey, can you keep me accountable for eating
It could be anybody.
breakfast? Yes, someone that's going to hold
like
you
a
high.
workout buddy, maybe.
Yes, that I like that. A workout buddy. Go find somebody. Find a class. You know, at the gym, there's plenty of classes, spin classes. Say you go to UFIT. Say you were to sign up for UFIT. There's all these classes. Just go.
What about your business? Like, as far do you have different programs for different people?
Yes, I do. And I also have ones that are from far, like New Jersey, because it's important, because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, you have all these different programs that someone could follow, right? You have these apps. It's all out there. But it comes down to the relationship that you build with that person, because it's kind of like, not kind of, they don't want to let me down.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. That's
what it
true.
comes down
that's
to.
a why in and of itself.
Yes.
It is.
I don't want to let this person down because this person sees that I'm great. I don't want to let them down. And that's what I just got the chills. I honestly think that's the relationship I build with people.
Yeah, that's true. So tell us a little bit about how did you get into the fitness area? Because I believe you've been an athlete your whole life.
Yes.
But how did you decide that this is the career for you?
How did I decide? Well, I was going to school as a math major, and I was sitting there, and I was actually then switched my major when I was going to Drexel to engineering, electrical engineering, and I was like doing the surveying and the cracks on the bridges, and I'm like, this is boring. And I wanted to like...
I said, I don't see you doing that.
What? I wanted to like have my hands on something and inspire them and motivate them. And I always came back to whatever I was going through growing up in my life, exercise was the answer. And since that was that for me, I was like, you know what? I get to do that for people and pay it forward. That movie, Pay It Forward, changed my life. That's when I was like, I get to pay it forward. Yeah. And then it's just like, it's working with people, because it's more than the money. When someone can walk down the street with their head up high, or be able to go and spend all day at Disney World and run around like that in itself.
Keep up with their
breeds a success in all the areas of your life that aren't just in the gym. And
Yes.
this is why this is what we're talking about here, is if anybody's asking themselves and they're sitting there, it's like, how do I get this all the time? How do I get to where you're at? And I said, I started with my first day in the gym. That's where I started this. I didn't start on my business. I didn't start caring about people more. I didn't start loving on myself more until I got into the gym and moved my body around. And I had a goal to have six-pack abs. That was my why. I wanted to take my shirt off on the beach. Why? Because I had body shamed as a kid. I had all kinds of conversations that I didn't look as good as my friends because they were tanner than I was, and I was really white. But this is where it all started. Is just and that started to transform every single other aspect of my life.
Yes.
And now it's like, we're all three of us. We started to talk about this a little bit, but we're talking about fears a little bit.
Yeah. So, and even for me though, like with fitness, I am rebellious. I've been really, really fit several different times in my life. I was an athlete as a child, but I had a story that I was like, ugh, I don't want to do it. I've got other things to do. I'd really rather sleep, etc. And then I like got it together, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm turning X amount of years. I'm in my mid-40s now, and I was like, you know what? I got more in this engine, and I'm not letting my age dictate anything. I can't stand the conversations around ageism and, well, I can't do that because I'm this age, or I can't do that because I'm that age. And it just makes me crazy. And I got on board after kicking and screaming, but now I'm like, yeah.
And this last week was my 11th month of this transformational, and 2 years ago I went skydiving. And for different reasons, I went skydiving 2 years ago just to see if I could get scared, because I didn't feel anything in life, and I wanted to feel. Yeah. I wanted to feel, and I just didn't feel, and I couldn't get scared. So now, tomorrow morning, myself and Janine are going skydiving at 7 o'clock in the morning.
My mom didn't even know that. Just put that on air.
She knows now.
She knows now.
I know my dad doesn't listen, so I'm safe.
But these are the types of fears that I'm talking about facing. There's 1,000 different fears that I have. That being afraid of heights is one of them. Something that I just know that I have to face. The fear of talking to a girl. I mean, the fear of calling a client for money. I mean, these are the things that I know for myself. And I acknowledge you because you're the one that actually had the idea, Mom. We actually been talking about it for quite some time.
Idea, Jimmy.
But we're going to face this, and we're doing it. We're going together, and we're doing it in a group, so we'll be okay, right?
Safety in numbers.
We think.
No, for sure.
But this is what makes life exciting. This is on the other side of that fear. There's something. There's going to be.
Yes.
I don't know what it's going to be tomorrow. For each of us, we just get to pay attention to it.
Yes.
What about the? I started to ask you a little bit about the consistency, the accountability, but also the programs that you designed. And I was kind of getting into, does someone need to be with you, or can you do something virtual, or is there some other? Because some people think about personal training, they think about somebody working right next to Rocky Balboa and just pushing them and doing lap after lap after lap. What are the other kinds of ways that you can support somebody other than just being with them physically?
So I will create a program based off, I usually take an hour out of the time and just have a conversation with them to see where they're at and where they're looking to go. And then from there, I design a program for them. They may not be here. So then that's where it comes down to trust. And here, this is your program, and you have a check-in. You get to check in with me. And if you don't check in, I'm not going to go run after you, because I can't want it more than somebody. Right. And that's something that I'm learning. That's been a shift with me. I can't want it more than someone wants it. So I can meet them where they're at, and I can be their biggest fan, but they got to show up for me to do that. So creating a program where they'll have a check-in, we'll come together and agree on a time and go from there. Sometimes if they're not here, we'll have it on the phone or through text messages. Or if they're here, we meet at the gym once in a while and go from there. And I get to show them the exercises. I'm big on form, so I don't want them to get hurt and discouraged.
And Janine, you're a coach as well. I mean, what she's saying about physically, this translates to all other areas of your life.
Absolutely, it does. It's really the same language.
Yes,
it's really the same.
Talking about it's right. It's the same language.
Yeah, and what you said about not, chasing after them for their results. It is true. Anyone who wants results in any area of their life has to be committed to it, and you can't coach non-commitment.
No.
You can't
it's
coach
not possible.
Absolutely.
In fact, I don't work with people who are not committed.
No.
Because it's not fair to either of us.
No.
Time is precious.
Yes.
So I guess we're going to take another commercial in just about a couple minutes, but I want to give you the chance to plug your business and give your phone number out. So, or how can people reach you if they want to at least talk to you?
Yeah. Am I tagged on this Facebook?
I'm not sure. I'm not that up to Facebook.
Okay.
Well, but we'll tag you somehow.
Okay, so you could reach out to me. My number is 609-273-4166. I'm not changing the Jersey area code. Or my Facebook is Janine Nicole, I think it is. I don't know. Janine Nicole, right? And has apostrophe. And just reach out. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I know you probably could say the same thing, is be open to asking for support. And then the guidance will come. And that could go in law, that can go in personal coaching, and it could go in fitness as well,
It's
awesome.
absolutely true.
I know that you had. Thank you very much for being here. You did a fantastic job.
Thanks.
I know.
And
we're so excited to have you here. Thank you.
J cubed.
Yeah, exactly.
And we will certainly be posting on our individual pages after we get onto the ground tomorrow. But thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we're going to go for a commercial break.
Okay.
Farrow Law Firm. Are you in default with your loan modification? Has your rate adjusted? We can help. Reach out to us today and we'll put our 10 years of foreclosure defense experience to work for you. Call us at 954-252-9818. online at farrowlawfirm.com and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
And welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show. I'm your host, Jay Farrow.
And I am Janine Davis. We are now minus one Janine. Thank you, Janine Foster, for joining us for the first 30 minutes of our show.
I'm glad we did that. I'm glad we did that because I wanted to talk about health for some time as far as the gym is concerned. And Janine has been such a big part of both of our transformations and working with us as far as being our trainer. And what you started to say, talking about accountability again.
Yeah, it's an overarching theme.
I mean, if you're looking to create the results in your life, finding somebody or some means of being accountable. One of the ways to be accountable that I'm practicing is declaring something publicly. I've been
huge.
Declaring things publicly that I have had 3 different childhood dreams that I like many other dreams and things that fall by the wayside because I'm too old or it passed me by or I have too much of a history and but there's some things that I just declared. One of the things is that I declared that I'm going to climb Mount Everest. I did.
He's not kidding, everyone. I want y'all to know that he's serious as a heart attack.
As soon as I do, and one of the things that Janine just brought up is like once you ask for help or declare something and then ask for help, the first thing I did is I walked into my office and I said to my law clerk, hi Mira, and
hey Mira.
I said to her, I'm going to climb Mount Everest, and she said, my husband knows another lawyer who's climbed Everest 4 times.
Wow.
And I immediately texted him. He did get back to me. And then I also did my own internet research looking about how many people have actually done it. What does it take? What does it, what does it look like?
What does it take?
Well,
can you speak a little bit into that? Because that's interesting.
It takes finding what I just learned today. It takes finding your why. Like a why.
Yeah.
I spoke to a gentleman today. He's a summit coach. Mm-hmm. And he was talking to me about climbing Everest. He's like, you're going to hit a wall. And when he said that, it resonated with me right away because I understand what the wall is. Mm-hmm. He said he climbed it 3 times. 3 times and he stopped the same place the first 2 times because he hit his wall.
Wow.
And that's the spot. And I want to talk about this because this is was come up about these the fears that we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
The fears in the wall, it's like it's almost deeper than fear. It's like you just forget why you're doing it and it becomes your body. You make the conscious decision to quit on yourself.
Yeah, it's like you get shut down. You get lost and you start spinning. And you really can't find your bearings.
And I have those walls every single day and I wasn't even looking for them. I wasn't even looking for these walls.
You weren't looking for your own walls?
No, but the thing is, like, when I walked into the office and I wasn't going to call someone for, like, for whatever reason, or if I would procrastinate because I wasn't going to start a project right then and there, that's one of my walls.
Yeah.
And what is it about that barrier that I would rather suffer the consequences of the feeling of procrastination? Because there's nothing like the feeling of procrastination for me. It's just that feeling.
Say more. What do you mean by that?
I get depressed. I know that I haven't put my best in, and I know that I could have done better. I know the feeling that I know that I made a commitment to myself that I didn't follow through.
And you broke it.
And I broke it.
To you.
To myself.
Right. Got it. Yeah. No, it's the worst feeling in the world.
So these walls are everywhere. Mm-hmm. And when I started to go on the treadmill, and like 2.5 weeks ago, one of my longest runs was 1.2 miles.
Right.
On the treadmill.
Right.
And then I went to I got in this. I'm doing this, and I went 3.3 miles.
Why did you even start running? How did that even come about? Share with us because there's a very particular thing.
I was reading a book.
Okay.
By this former Navy SEAL David Goggins.
Okay.
And he was talking about like what a human being is capable of. Now here's a guy that's running marathons. He ran 8 consecutive 100-mile marathons over 8 consecutive weekends. This man went through 3 hell weeks of SEAL training. This man, his concept is that it's your mind, only your mind, that is preventing you from that. It's not your lungs collapsing. It's not your feet. This man was running marathons with broken legs. It's as extreme as that might sound or be, there's a part of me that connected to the fact that I know in my heart that I could have gone forward. My legs would still continue to move if I wanted them to move, no matter how I felt. Because up here was just the conversations.
So it was the mental challenge.
It was all mental.
The physical challenge was the fuel for the mental challenge.
It was all mental. Just like every single thing, I'm up against myself constantly, and only myself. There's not a person, a human being on this planet, that can get in the way of me and my dreams. It's my mindset.
Right.
That's the only.
Well,
thing.
it's the same for all of us, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's we're the only ones who are truly preventing us. We can have stories all day long. Oh, the way I was raised. Oh, this ex, my husband, my kids, my this, my that. And at the end of the day, it all starts and ends with you. I mean, this is what it is. This is the beauty of it, actually, because then we have the ability to transform that.
Absolutely. There was something on that treadmill that first day I went to go out to my record, and it was like I went up from 1.2 miles to 3.3. That's a 5K.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later I did 3.4 miles, and then it was 3.6, and then I got on the treadmill and it went to 4.7.
Right.
And then I went up to, and then this other night I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And there's so many times I wanted to press that red button, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it, no matter how I was feeling. And I got through it. It was really my mind. And that proved,
it's an exceptional feeling when you can get through it.
If I could go from 1.2 miles to 5.4 miles in 2.5 weeks, as far as stamina is concerned, I started to think, what else is possible?
Right.
What else can I do? And
that's exciting. That's what's exciting. Right? I mean, yes, you physically stretched yourself, but then that extrapolation from it's not only about the miles that you ran, it's about opening up that space in your head to be like, hey, if I can do this, what else can I do?
What else can I do?
Yeah. Again, that curiosity that we talked about,
and I tried
several minutes ago.
And then what I started to say is, okay, well, what are the reasons why I can't? And you know what came up? Nothing. Nothing.
Oh, wow. You got crickets as an answer?
I got crickets as the answer. I've been doing so much work and getting up at 3:45 in the morning. I tell this story all the time, and I'll continue to tell it because after 343 days, I have a confidence about me because I know that I'm enough. I love myself. I'm worth it.
Wow.
I'm worth
Amen.
I'm worth the feeling of knowing whether or not I could do it. And I said to this man today, he's like, we started talking about this why, which is exactly what Goggins was talking about.
Sure.
And he said, you're going to hit this wall. And you're going to have to know the answer to that question.
Right.
And it's like, because I'm looking for the answer to that question is why I want to climb the mountain. It has nothing to do with the mountain. I'm looking for the truth about myself.
Okay.
We really had this profound conversation. When you're speaking to a man who's climbed Mount Everest, he's also climbed K2, which is more difficult than Mount Everest.
In what way is it more difficult?
It's the rate
steeper?
of the climb is steeper, and there's more rock climbing. There's more. I just got a text from my mom saying, "Just do it." Thanks, Mom.
Hi, Sonia.
And this was, and you know what? The people in my life that used to think that I was a little bit nutty are saying, "Just do it, Jay."
Yeah. Well, I think that as you're showing up in such a way, and as you're transforming your relationships with first your relationship with yourself,
right,
and that sort of radiates, and so a support that maybe you would not have had before because you didn't have that same vibration or vibrance or radiance. Now you're sharing that, and people are able to, love you better or love you more. I don't know, or it's a different thing. It changes, it transforms.
We're talking about the fear. I have more of a fear of being on my bed 50 years from now.
Yeah.
And looking at my wall of what ifs.
Yeah.
Instead of my wall of what dones.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at my wall and I have all these I couldn't imagine that. And you know what? Now I'm thinking, when I was in the hospital bed, I had those what ifs. I had those thoughts about what.
That's true. You were on the cusp of death.
But now knowing what's possible, knowing that what I set my mind to will come to fruition if I keep momentum towards the goal. Things will show up in my life. I declared, I think it was maybe 5 days ago, I was going to climb Mount Everest. Since then, I've spoken to 2 people who have climbed it. One of them has climbed it more than once.
Right.
Both of them are willing to support me on my journey.
It's tremendous.
I
Yeah,
know
because-
that you need permits. I know there's two sides of it, the China side, the Nepal side. I also know that they're having a big trash problem. There's an ecological disaster over there. That
Yeah,
actually,
there is,
every climber that has to do it has to pick up a certain amount of trash on the way down.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know
That's
that,
a beautiful contribution. Wow, I was not aware of that.
I know that there's 5,000 people-ish that have climbed it thus far. I know that that it takes about 2 months to climb. I know that there's certain climbs that you have to do beforehand. There's certain trainings that you need to do. And so this is a week's time. I knew nothing about Everest before. And now it's like you have a friend that climbed it.
Yeah, one of my closest friends in life climbed to base camp.
And now I told this guy, it has nothing to do with the view from the top. It has everything to do with the man that I become getting there. And I say that one more time because it's very important.
Amen.
It has nothing really to do with the view, because that's fleeting. It's the man that I get to become going after that goal. I didn't know what it was going to take to get six-pack abs in 4 months. But the man the discipline that was required to become that man in 4 months' time.
Right.
And I want to acknowledge you because I've seen what you've done in your transformation in the last 6 months.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've really come into my own. I'm still, working into my desires and my wants and really being anchored into my why. And my father actually is a really big inspiration for me because he is 78 now, and right around the time he was 73, he started to experience a lot of health challenges, and with his heart and an atrophy of muscles and things like that. And it gave me a really profound appreciation for the human body and how we take care of it. It will keep on working for us. Nothing is guaranteed, but I think I enjoy connecting to my body. For me, it's also a spiritual thing. It is about the exterior results. Of course, I'm like anybody else. I want to look good. But for me, it's about connecting to who I am as a person, as a woman, and being connected to my body, which is a journey that I've been connected and disconnected. And if I'm honest, I never really gave my body its due. In fact, I talked about how I was in shape many times in my life and looking very good, and I never, ever appreciated it.
Right.
It was never good enough. I was never thin enough. My butt was never tight enough. Something was always wrong. And I reflect back on that, and I think, how sad, right? Because our bodies are miraculous. They carry us around. They house us. It works. It's an incredible machine. And I get to start creating appreciation for the temple that it is.
And our bodies have voices.
They do, and our bodies communicate, and I hadn't listened for so long.
And our bodies have fears.
Yes.
Our bodies independently have fears, and that's what comes up when you're doing what you're saying with your body. Yeah. It's like your body's going to speak to you, and it's going to say, "What are you doing to me? You haven't done anything to me for years or ever."
Yeah.
Well, no, this is not how we play life, Jay. This is
right.
Where's the couch? And where the
and the martini. I mean, come on.
And the chicken wings.
Yeah.
Where's all that stuff? Because your body gets used to that, and it gets used to processing that as a way of life. Yeah, and your body's going to bark at you.
It will eventually bark. Absolutely.
I'm not. This is why when I was talking to Janine, I said, how do you do something small to start? How do you get that momentum going?
Right. Exactly. It is about being small. Starting small.
I'm just compelled to say it. If you're on one of these body programs, or if you're doing this type of work, and we can maybe take this out after the break.
Yeah.
What do you do just to keep things going? Just to make sure that we're talking about momentum.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you're losing it, we're going to talk about that right on the other side.
And call in if we can support you.
So we'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
Farrow Law Firm. Are you in default with your loan modification? Has your rate adjusted? We can help. Reach out to us today and we'll put our 10 years of foreclosure defense experience to work for you. Call us at 954-252-9818, online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show.
With Jay and Janine, give us a call at 888-565-1470. And now back to the show.
And welcome back to the Momentum Mindset Show. It is Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock, and we're in the last 15 minutes of this week. And I want to wrap up our conversation a little bit about the Mount Everest. And I know we stopped.
Sure.
We stopped the show. The commercial break. We talked about the little things that you can do.
Yeah.
I said in a show maybe some weeks ago that having something that you do every single day. Pick something in the morning or something that you do every single day. It could be as simple as eating oatmeal or eating a healthy meal. Because if I know that I have one win in my pocket, no matter how small it is, I didn't eat that lollipop. I went for a 5-minute walk. I drank that extra glass of water. I can think on that win and connect right back into momentum. I can connect right back into the program.
Yeah.
And we're talking about this Mount Everest. I'm very, very serious about it. The other things I wanted to do is go into orbit and run for president. And we'll talk about that on a different show.
For sure.
But what I found was when I picked, when I said, you know what, I'm going to do this Mount Everest thing. I went into the gym the next day and I connected to that why. And I connected to that goal.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to have, everybody's got the Mount Everest of their life. I may never, ever climb Mount Everest, okay? I may never get there. But I'm asking a bigger questions, and I'm looking for a bigger goal. I just know that when I throw something out there and I declare it and I connect to it, everybody's got an Everest.
Everybody does have an Everest.
Take a second to think about what is that. What is your Everest? I mean, it could be building a business. It could be I had a client come in today to start their business for the first time, and that was their Everest of the day. Every single day there could be something for you, because once you can pick your Mount Everest and you have a purpose, you can create drive.
You can create the momentum to keep you going, and allow yourself to feel and connect to that why. And your Everest, it's amazing. It's invigorating. It's absolutely invigorating.
And the more you try to talk yourself out of it, I want you to declare, the more you try to talk yourself out of it, the more you should think about doing it.
Yeah.
Because these are the fears. The conversations in my head and your head are not real. They're nothing but us doing three things: staying safe, being comfortable, and looking good.
Right.
Because we don't want to necessarily tell other people that we're doing something, because what if you fail? What if you succeed? You're not going to fit in their box anymore.
What if people start asking you and holding you accountable, and you don't feel like doing it, or you change your mind, or you got lazy or whatever, and you don't want to admit that to anybody? That's why people stay quiet. That's why I've stayed quiet for years on what I was up to, because I was afraid to be held accountable. And things only started shifting in my life when I changed that. I gave myself permission to change that conversation, to believe that I have follow through, to believe in myself, and really just go for it, even if it doesn't look like what I thought it would look like.
So what I'm hearing is declare it.
Yeah.
Then make some kind of a commitment to it and become accountable for it.
So it's declaration, commitment, and massive action, right? It's not just smoke and mirrors like, okay, I'm dreaming it. No, it's actually living into it.
Yeah, declare it out. Declare it for yourself.
Yeah.
And then tell somebody else about it, and put one foot in the direction of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You'll
be so happy that you did. It's going to make you feel so good. Yeah, it is the magic.
I mean, I had this thing for the making $1 million in 40 days. I'm still got 20 some odd days left. And you know what my action step is? I know, look, I wear 2 different pairs of socks, every single day. I'm not, people, okay, I wear 2 different pairs of crazy socks every single day. And today's selection are rather obnoxious, if I do say so myself. But
show us. I haven't seen your socks today.
I can't get them up there. Okay. I'll post it on Facebook. Okay.
Yes, please.
But I do something like that every single day to say I'm doing something uncomfortable today. I'm doing something that doesn't look good, because if anybody sees my socks, they're gonna judge me. They're gonna say, what's going on. The other day when I had my 2 of my toenails painted with the musical stuff, maybe some of you have seen it on Facebook, and I was getting new shoes, and I had to take my socks off, and this guy's looking at my toenails, and I'm like, yeah, because I felt that uncomfortable feeling. Oh my God, I gotta hide this. I forgot. I don't want this guy to find out. These are the things: is that looking good, being comfortable, and staying safe. You know, are those things that your mind is going to tell you, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do.
And guys, you know what? It's fun. Look, all of this stuff that we talk about in the mindset and the momentum, it's work. It is work, and to get you out of your comfort zone. But it's also so fun.
Do you know how much, just to wake up in the morning and know that the day belongs to you, if you wanted to make it belong to you. Write down some fun stuff in the morning. You can get up, whatever time you get up, write some fun stuff down and just become accountable to it. Tell somebody about it that you're going to do it. That's the whoa part. That's the
that is the whoa part. Because if someone asks you and you say no,
because then someone's going to ask you, what are you up to? What are you doing with this? Are you still pursuing it? And it's like, oh, you know, that's when you know you're getting real with yourself, is when you tell another human being what you're up to and say, hey, would you mind? I know this is a little bit there yet. I'm okay with not being there yet. You know, and if you ever wanted to write us on Facebook and talk, we're a safe space. If you want us to be your accountability group for a little bit, and you want to type into the Momentum Mindset Show, and drop us a line on Facebook or myself on my feed. You know,
please do,
Jay,
everyone.
Would you be accountable? You know, for me for the week, and all you need to do is send me I did what I said I was going to do, something like that.
Yeah,
because that's a start. Because things will show up in your life that will also provide support once you start asking for it.
Absolutely. Things will show up for you. When you show up for you, things, people, opportunities, a new way of being or thinking or whatever it is. I don't know what it would be for you, but it does start to shift slowly. Wait, what is you're saying that you said?
Little by slowly.
Little by slowly. That's what I meant to say.
Little by slowly.
It does. And it's something really miraculous to see and to witness and to experience, of course. It's exciting.
Little by slowly.
Yeah.
The thing that I wanted to share about was about this fear. I really had to connect with what really scares me. I wasn't kidding about talking to a pretty girl, the fear of heights. You know, these are the things that I identify that scare me. Mm-hmm. Now, what I learned is once you go after one of those fears and you handle it, other things in life become a lot less scary.
Yes.
Because you get the confidence to say, hey, I did that.
Yeah.
I know that I did that. I can do this. And if you put a couple of those wins in your pocket, I'm not talking about the big mountain. I'm just talking about the 5-minute walk.
Yeah.
Those little things saying, hey,
that's momentum.
I did that for me.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And I know that I can do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I could do it again the next day. And then you're going to go for the 10-minute walk. And then I finally decided after 343 days, it's like I'm ready to go after some big things and face some pretty big fears.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them still at my office.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, for sure. And you know, as you get through the days and the to-do lists grow and you know, that resistance shows up when you have to deal with a certain situation at work or with someone, it will always show up, and you always get to choose how you participate in whatever comes your way.
So much so, like when we're talking about all of these things and how it all fits together,
yeah,
we finally developed our niche.
Yes, very exciting. I mean, it's been 2 years in the making.
Supporting entrepreneurs settle private business disputes discreetly, and over $1 million. And it's something that we find that calls to me. It takes what it takes till things start shaking down and boiling down. It's called integration. I was speaking to a really good friend of mine. I think Lynn just checked in, as a matter of fact, as I'm looking here.
Awesome.
Hey, Lynn. Thanks.
Hey,
nice
Lynn.
to see you today. Integration. And I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that next week. But integration is basically once you learn the tools of transformation, once you get them and you start practicing them, it takes a certain amount of time to integrate those into your life, to viscerally feel what it's like. I call it muscle memory. Because it's similar, where you're getting your body gets used to practicing coming up against your fears, handling the conversations that come up, and then moving forward and moving through them.
Right. Absolutely. Integration is a huge thing. You know, we all have these really beautiful concepts, but living them is the integration of the concepts and actually practicing them on a daily basis and then transforming so that that's what you're doing more than you were doing your old automatic. That's then transformation. It's really exciting.
It's been an excellent week.
Yeah. So excited.
So many wins, and I credit it to the support that I get from you.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Me too.
And
Thank you.
we're going to continue to create momentum. We'll see you again next Friday.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much
Thanks
for joining us.
in.
It is such an honor to spend this time with you.
Oh, Janice, I just saw her. Kim and Kimmy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Momentum Mindset Show. For your hosts, Jay and Janine, we'll see you here next week. Thank you for being real, authentic, and honest.
If you'd like to reach us, please contact us on our Facebook page, The Momentum Mindset Show, or on our office phone line, which is 954-559-6987.
We are stronger together.
And remember, keep going.